Hello and welcome to Swaay.Health, where we like to bring the brightest minds in healthcare marketing on air. And I've got one right here. This is Dan Dunlop, Jennings. Dan, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Colin. It's always great to be here with you.
It is always great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you.
So Dan, let's talk about what you're talking about here at the Marketing 360 conference, and that is content marketing, one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I mean, you are a content marketer. I get dizzy watching you out there producing content. I'm talking about content marketing. And it's really, everything I talk about at different conferences usually grows out of something that like a thorn in my side, something that's irritating me. And with content marketing, you know, I'll go into a health system and they'll say, man, we really want to promote these 3 centers of excellence or these 3 service lines. And I'll be like, terrific. Let's talk to the head of each of those service lines. Oh, we can't. They're too busy, you know? And I'm constantly battling with our inability to access the people we need to use in a content marketing program. Whether it's the C-suite, if we're trying to change the whole brand of the organization or impact the brand of the organization, or whether it's the surgeons from orthopedics, you know, who we need to feature and who we need to help tell their story, and maybe who we need to humanize to make them more appealing to the audience. So one of the things we've developed at my company is a model where we come in and we take whoever that leader is. It could be a surgeon, could be a psychiatrist in your organization, could be your CEO. And if you give us an hour with that person, just give me an hour. We'll sit down with them, we'll interview them, we'll do a 2-camera interview like you and I are doing right now, a little more sophisticated than this, but we'll do a 2-camera interview and we'll produce enough content in 1 hour to produce between 8 and 12 pieces of content, just video content. So we're talking smaller pieces for social media and those kinds of uses, and then longer pieces that we can put on that service line website or on a blog, which is we're often doing. But also, you take that interview and you take the transcript from it, you give it to the marketing team and the PR team, and they suddenly have fodder for quotes, story pitches, blog posts, you name it. So, and they're suddenly getting words out of that leader that they could never meet with before. And what I find is when you approach that leader and say, hey, we want to feature you in this campaign, and here's all of what we're going to do, and we only need an hour of your time, and then I beg for another hour so we can do some B-roll and catch them, you know, doing their job. And who doesn't like being filmed when you're walking down the hallway greeting, you know, coworkers and patients, and obviously we get the HIPAA forms signed off on, but we get all this content to promote them, and that doctor or leader sees the benefit of it. You know, they suddenly start getting feedback, and their colleagues, by the way, start going, well, how did Dr. Smith get all of that? You know, I want some of that same treatment. And suddenly we have demand for that service and that opportunity, instead of people hiding from us and being confronted with that same old, well, we can't get, you know, they don't have the time. They're always in surgery, or when they're not in surgery, they're in clinic. So, you know, how can we access them? It's impossible.
So it sounds like you're taking like an hour and you're getting so much value from that concentrated hour. You're generating a lot of different content, videos, quotes, snippets, and let's be honest, scheduling that hour is a lot easier than trying to schedule every single time you need one of those things from them.
Absolutely, and one of the keys I'm going to talk about tomorrow when I do my presentation is do the hour when it works for that person. So with a surgeon, if it works at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning or on a Sunday afternoon, we'll come in and film you in the OR on a Sunday afternoon when, you know, hopefully we can have the OR, it's not slammed, and we can get you on film and shoot you in your natural setting. So, you know, it's a great opportunity.
So Dan, let me ask you, what do you say or do in those interviews to make the other person feel at ease? Because I hear that a lot, where it's like people get super nervous as soon as these cameras get turned on, the lights come on. How do you get someone to relax and be themselves?
Well, and you do this so well. You know how to do this. It's relationship building. I mean, you really, from the first moment, before the cameras even start running, and by the way, we start the camera running before they know it's running. You know, so we're filming while we're just practicing. But it's about relationship building and making them comfortable. And we talk about family, We talk about things in the community, and you learn things. I mean, I was doing this for a group of orthopedic surgeons in North Carolina, and during one of those interviews, just in the chit-chat part of the interview, which we don't use on camera, I learned that 2 of the surgeons have daughters who are very active in dance in the community, and the dads go to the dance classes and the dance competitions. And it struck me as a great opportunity by telling that story to humanize these guys and connect them to the community. Because, you know, orthopedic surgeons sometimes come across as being a little bristly. So we did a whole video on dance dads, and we linked it to orthopedics and some of the work they do in sports medicine. So it was just this perfect opportunity. But if we're not building that relationship and we're not taking that time, we don't get to do those kinds of things and tell those kinds of stories. So absolutely, you need to put them at ease. And I think if your approach to interviewing, and I know this isn't your approach, but if it is where you're just reading from a list of interview questions, that's a failure. It needs to be a conversation. You ask a question, and then you need to be engaged in their answer and be willing to go where the conversation takes you. And that's going to lead to far more interesting content when you produce it.
I love that, Dan. I can't wait for your session tomorrow. Where can people go to find more information about you and Jennings?
They can Google Dan Dunlop, and I'll be there. Our website for my company is JenningsHealthcareMarketing.com.
Awesome. Dan, always a pleasure to have you on camera here. We love having you. We'll have to get you back on next time we're together.
Thank you, Colin.
This has been Colin Hung with Swaay.Health. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you on the next video.